Welcome to Think for Yourself. I'm Vera Andriva. If you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. We release videos every week. We're going after our first 100 subscribers, so I'm really glad that you're here. If you find value from this, be a force for good. Share it with someone who you think could benefit too. Albert Einstein referred to compounding interest as the eighth wonder of the world. He went on to state that if you understand it, you earn it, and if you don't, well, you pay it. It's important to understand what interest is, how compounding interest fits in, and how to use it in your everyday life. My intention with making this video is to break down compound interest from a high-in-the-sky concept to something that's tangible, applicable to you now, and actually makes sense. So let's get into the video. So here what you see is the Ramsey Investment Calculator. It's in the description box. Hit that link, play with it yourself. Literally put in the numbers yourself, see how they play out. I think that the tangible aspect of physically putting it in makes all the difference. That's why I'm going to be doing it live with you right now. That way you can actually understand like what I'm showing. Let's say that your current age is 18 years old. And we'll say that you're going to be retiring at 75. People live longer now, and you currently have $0 invested to your name, and we're just going to be investing $100 a month. Not a lot. The S&P 500 has had a return of 10% a year for the last 20 to 30 years. I'm risk averse. We're going to use 8%. For my own personal investing, I use 7%. I'd rather outdo what I estimate as opposed to underperform it. So let's say you're 18 years old. You're going to retire at the age of 75. You have currently $0 invested to your name, and you're going to be contributing $100 monthly. You'll be earning 8% a year. We'll be keeping that 8% constant. If you want to be more aggressive, 10, 12%, just go ahead and pull it up on your side and play through the numbers. If all you were to do is this, you'd end up with $1.3 million in retirement. It's pretty cool. Also here it shows that you'd be a millionaire by the year of 2076. $100 a month. Let's say that you wanted to be really aggressive and you're going to be contributing $500 instead. So what happens now is you're going to be retiring with $6.9 million. So that's just if you invest $500 from the start of 18 through 75. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm not 18 years old anymore. Let's say you just really want to maximize a portion of your life. Let's say you're currently 20 years old and you want to really maximize between 20 and 30. So we'll just use that gap and be contributing $500 every month. At the end of these 10 years, you're going to have a whopping $91,000. Your net contribution, so money that you physically put in, is going to be 60 grand, and the growth that took place, so the money that your money has earned, is going to be $31,000. Stay with me here. What we're going to do is we're going to say that, hey, let's say you do this, right? You're now 30 years old, you're going to retire at the age of 75, and currently what you have invested is going to be $91,472, and for the rest of eternity, you are going to invest $0. By investing those initial $60,000 of principal, now that gets to $90,000 when you're 30, so 10 years afterwards. 45 years later, that equates to $3.3 million. Maybe you're thinking like, hey, well, that's cool and all, but I want to do better. I want to do more. And I agree with you. So let's go ahead and keep going, right? Let's say you're, again, 20 years old. You're going to be investing for 10 years. You really want to capitalize on all of it. And, you're really going to double down and you're going to be investing $1,000 a month. And you currently have $0 invested. What that means is you'll now have $182,000. You've contributed net 120 grand and you've experienced a growth. So money that your money is making of $62,000. Let's say that you really buckled down, you did this for 10 years, this is where you're at now, so you're now 30 years old, you're planning to retire at the age of 75, and you have $182,000 invested. And you're not going to be investing anything else going forward. This is all the money you're going to put in ever. You're now going to have $6.6 million when you're retiring. The reason for me showing you all these breakdowns, by the way, is because I want you guys to see that it's about capitalizing on a chapter. It's about doing it and then letting it ride. Time is really the vehicle here that allows for compounding interest to take a life of its own. Let's say you're really a go-getter. Maybe you want to start a company. You're thinking about how to really capitalize on your skills, right? You just want to funnel all of that into your future self. Let's say that you really crunch the numbers and you decide that you're going to be investing $2,000 a month every single, just for the 10 years, by the way. You're just going to, really buckle down for those 10 years. Currently have 0 invested, and you're going to be investing $2,000 a month. Well, after those 10 years, you're going to have a whopping $365,000 to your name in this account. So your net contributions were $240,000, and you've only made $125,000 from your money working for you. Now, let's say that you're 30 years old, right? You've actually done all of this. Now you have those $365,892 sitting in that account, and you're gonna invest absolutely nothing for the rest of your life. Now you're gonna have $13 million waiting for you there when you're 75 at an 8% interest rate. The reality is, right, after doing this, you've probably gotten a lot more skills. You've probably created cash flow where you're able to sustain that investing without just never investing again. So let's say that you decide to invest $1,000 monthly going forward. You've now increased an additional $6 million net worth by the time you're retiring by only contributing an additional $540,000. So contributing $500,000 equated to you getting an additional $6 million. And before we were using the example of investing $2,000 a month, 24 grand a year. So let's say that, at this point you've really buckled down. You think that you can continue to invest $2,000 because you've expanded your skill set and this is sustainable for you. Well, $23 million by the age of 75. Maybe you want to get to this number 5 years later, right? So here we're just looking at you investing those initial $240,000 of your earned money into the market, and then letting it ride for 45 years. Let's say you're 30 years old. That means that you'd be retiring with $13 million. Well, what happens if you're like, hey, I just want to chill, I'll start 5 years later? What happens now is that at the age of 75, by just waiting 5 years, you're now at $8.8 million as opposed to 13. How about if we go backwards the other way and you're like, well, I'm 14 years old right now, I want to start. Let's say you get it when you're 25. You're now at $19 million. If you're 18 years old right now and you're just going to be investing $100 a month, you're going to retire a millionaire, so you might as well start acting as it now. I'm hoping that this has shifted your mind and your perspective of what time can do to money the way it did for me. Breaking down the numbers into something that's actually feasible and gives you a vehicle through which you can go and attack it, as opposed to thinking of it as this high in the sky big thing that you don't know how to approach and therefore never start on. The goal is for that not to happen to you, that you can actually look at this and be like, hey, I can see where I can start, and I can see how this can really create the trajectory that I want for myself and those around me. Time is really of the essence here. That's really the biggest takeaway that I had. It's not if, it's when. If you had the opportunity to trade places with Warren Buffett right now and have all of his money and also all of his age, would you do it? And that probably gives you your answer. I've always wanted there to be this really sexy answer and to think that I'm just not smart enough. So if I could just figure it out, then I'd blow it up. And reality is that's just not true. I hope that this really expanded your mind and perspective how it did for me and those that I shared it with. With that, I encourage you to go ahead and try out that calculator yourself. Physically play with the numbers. See what you feel is tangible for you. It's about having the cash flow to invest consistently, whatever amount you choose to allocate to investing. This requires investing in yourself now by learning the skills and making yourself an asset. Look for opportunities to solve problems and the cash flow will follow. See you in the next video.